Hello, everyone. Welcome to another one of our parallel barking podcasts where my daughter, Ariana Becker, and I do what we've been doing for the last 600 years, and that is arguing about things of interest to me.
Yeah, to you, because we just spent the last 20 minutes trying to figure out what we were going to talk about.
Which
and
I thought should have been our podcast.
You poo-pooed every single thing that I said.
Because I had to practice my poo and my pooing, but I thought that was the perfect.
I think you're pretty good at poo-pooing.
No, I think that is a perfect segue to today's episode. And today's episode is Halloween. And how better to start a nightmare than to try to sit and try to figure out what it is that one can speak to the good people in podcast land without getting ourselves burned at the stake.
Yeah, see, let's talk. Let's talk witches. Witches of England. That was a good movie.
Witches of England.
I wouldn't, but yes, I wouldn't consider
it. We can't talk about witches anymore. We have to talk about people of the human sort who may have access to the non-human realm.
What? Wait, yes. So you're talking about tarot cards and...
No, I'm talking about the fact that we cannot, I think it's horribly essentialist and reductionist that every time you think about a person who genders herself female, has to wear black, have a long nose, use a broom. People use vacuum cleaners nowadays, and sometimes they even have house vacuum cleaners, and fly around and invoke some sort of creature, usually of the satanic sort, which is meant to convey evil. As we know, because we're all victims of the Marvel comic series, that witches, that's right, that witches can come in male, female, and genderless varieties, as well as everything in between, that they don't necessarily have to invoke Satan or some manifestation of an anti-god or a sub-imp god, and that they may be able to access all kinds of other things. Now, that's a nightmare.
But well, okay, since we love to put labels on things, apparently,
we do.
Apparently male witches are warlocks. We don't have a label yet for non-binary.
Well, that's because we've been foolish enough to start by putting the cart before the horse and assuming that you have to name...
That you have to have a sexuality to be a witch.
Well, you have to have a sexuality that you divide witchcraft into sexualities, which
right?
I think
Isn't that weird?
Ridiculous.
That's a little weird.
It's just it is culturally benign.
Culturally apt.
Yeah, because basically it reflects the way we thought, perhaps not the way we are thinking now, although it reminds me that maybe at some point we should invite someone from the witch and warlock community, which may or may not include the Wiccans and other established religions.
That would be so cool. I mean, maybe there is a difference. We don't know.
Well, but we're also talking about stereotypes. And so what this is kind of like magic signaling, because
maybe there's code switching with witches.
Well, yeah, but think about who's labeling all these people. It's us.
We are, the people who don't know.
And this is why it's a Halloween horror podcast, because you're sitting here going, wait a minute, I thought you were going to talk about Halloween. And to your horror, and that's the Halloween part, to your horror, we're sitting and talking about gendering people who have access to some sort of connection to some other regions, which you may or may not call magic. And at the end of the day, the horror is that we've discovered that, in fact, we no longer have words to describe this phenomenon that are now culturally aligned with the way in which at least some vast majority of people now think. And any word that you use to describe this is going to invoke Satan, because it's going to bring a conflict.
Well, that's what helps people. I have found that categorization helps people determine the hierarchy of where you sit in
Yeah,
relation
but why
to
should I give
them.
you power to categorize?
Exactly.
That-
No. Shh, shh. This is a fabulous segue into a very awesome conversation I had with my coworkers the other day about the reason I use partner instead of identifying whether I had a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife,
Or dog.
or dog, exactly. I do
Although I
not
think
want to
that's
give someone the power
very
over
good.
me to
All right.
decide
Now, remember, everyone,
where to
this is
place
still the
me.
Halloween. This is still the Halloween podcast.
This is
So
still Halloween.
we're describing different forms of horror. So here's the horror of signaling, and here's the horror of giving power of people to label.
Very horrifying. Very horrifying. People.
I'm convinced that Satan was a semiotician, and that in using the old terminology of the Abrahamic religions, that the divine thought it would be a big lark to give Satan power to make it impossible for anyone to agree on the meaning of words, but then to give us all the power to create 15, 20, or 25,000 words in a vocabulary, the meaning of which is both transitory and we can't agree on it.
There's another point. Aren't there different forms of Satan? Isn't there Satan, Beelzebub?
No, that's a whole population. So we have the city of the non-divine people, but which is also a categorization, and one, of course, that we believe that we understand, but that we may not, because after all, we do not really have a guide other than a human-made guide to all of these creatures, nymphs, fairies, trolls, and others. We have made a judgment about whom the divinity sends to, now stereotypically warmer or colder places, and who he sends to Elysium, or to, I guess if you're old and you die, something like Miami Beach in the 50s.
Oh, yes. No, Delray Beach. It's Delray Beach.
Oh my God, no, that's the transitional, that's the river Styx. But now we've just insulted the good people of Delray, which we didn't mean you, we meant some other hypothetical place.
Yes.
That may or may not have that name.
I only wish I could settle in Delray.
I think that we have horrified our listeners enough. Let's get back to Halloween. Although we have been Halloweening everyone.
I think we have been preening on Halloween a bit.
Well, this is our costume. Our costume is actually, we should go in costume to a Halloween party as meaningless words, or words that have so many different meanings that they don't have any, and then we'll scare everyone.
Oh, please.
I saw you roll your eyebrows.
Tell me. Okay, and first, how do you roll your eyebrows? Second, please tell me
eyeballs.
How would you create a costume of words? I would like to see that.
With words.
No. Explain. You have to expand on that.
With words.
No, that doesn't work.
That's because you think the costume's boring, but I think the costume is horribly frightening.
Yeah, you're right, actually, and probably most of the population would. If you just have a wall of words.
Now you're putting reactions in their mouths. Is that the
I said probably. I did not say they would. I said probably. This is a conjecture that if I preface it with that, everything's okay, right? If I just put a Band-Aid on it, everything's okay.
But another horror of Halloween is the use the role of Halloween as yet another device for virtue signaling.
Explain.
In terms of your choice of costume.
You're right. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Wait. I hope this has been recorded and for all our podcast listeners.
And for posterity.
We just heard it here. Say this again. I want to hear it in slow motion.
Oh, you are right sometimes.
Oh my God, I think that is a wonderful point to end the podcast. But we're not done.
No, we're not going to. No, we're not going to, because we always, when I was in college, we always talked about the differences in costumage that was available and that people would wear. There would be really funny costumes that we would see guys wear, like there'd be big babies and giant diapers holding giant bottles, or like, you know, couple costumes that were hilarious. And then a
That's the
lot of
80s.
girls would just walk around in their panties.
They're all signaling. So think about costumes as signaling devices, right? We're
Yes, that was my
signaling
point.
every time we put on something or we don't put on something,
Mhm.
we're using signaling. That's why I want my costume to be words, and why I thought that the semiotic Satan was a wonderful idea, because every choice that we make in wearing what we wear on our top but not our bottom in Zoom meetings, wearing what we wear top and bottom. How many lectures have we had that in our free, open, and egalitarian society? How many lectures have we gone to where well-meaning middle-class people tell really frustrated people who are not them why it is that they're making sartorial errors, and the fact that they may or may not be really good at what they're doing is irrelevant unless they put on, or they signal
Put on a
their life
smile.
by wearing, right? Don't wear bars and dots. Make sure, oh, what was the 50s thing, that your shoes and your purse match? I forget what it was.
Oh, wow. That
Right?
is way
The
before my
pantyhose,
time, you
no,
dinosaur.
well, I'm 4,000 years old. The pantyhose debate for men, you wear a sport coat or a suit, brown shoes. Oh my God. That was something. White shoes after whatever it is, no one really cared in the tropics, but all of that stuff. And so in a sense, what's the difference between Halloween and
Any other day?
yeah, and any other day? The only thing is now this is a specific subform of signaling.
And costumes, you're right.
Right. And now who are you signaling to? Are you signaling to the group to whose party you're going? Are you signaling to people who may happen to see you on your way to and from this party? And I guess the way to solve that problem is to wear a coat. Or are you signaling by not even wearing a costume? I mean, the thing that always amuses me is the most effective way of costume signaling is not even to bother wearing a costume. It is merely to communicate your intention to wear a costume.
Oh, no. See, that's even worse than where my mind is going. When you said wear a coat and then you said wear absolutely nothing, I'm thinking of those streakers who wear trench coats running around.
No, you can't do that anymore. That's now, Soviet style kind of way. That's now aberrational behavior that requires psychiatric
Yep.
evaluation.
We don't know what the
Yeah,
human body looks like. So if anybody shows us it, we're traumatized for life.
Now, the funny thing is, of course, that what we've done is reaffirm in a very strong way the old biblical injunction against nakedness. Recall Lot's daughters seeing their father, was the daughter or the son seeing their father naked. Nakedness was and the showing of flesh, depending on the religious community, was a thing, and now it's a thing again. We don't do it with respect to the ancient holy books of the West and the Middle East, but we've in a sense gone full circle. So streaking now is, we don't use the word sin because we live in the age of the therapeutic. It is now some kind of signaling of psychiatric abnormality, which requires some reorientation, retraining, and worse, it requires a permanent social marker, which takes us back to the good old 17th century. We no longer put a scarlet brand of an A on the forehead of the adulterer. Instead, we brand you by putting you in some kind of ledger, which is easily accessible on the internet.
Oh, wait, hold,
So-
hold up. I'm
So
gonna do,
branding, so branding, the horror at nakedness, all of the old biblical stuff is now come back. And that is an even more interesting 24/7, 365 day a year horror costume than anything that you may show up for a couple hours on the 31st of October.
did the branding happen with all adulterers or?
No,
just
it depended
female?
on the place. It depended on the place or context.
Because I know
think-
most of us have been
Yeah.
forced to read the Scarlet Letter. Most of us.
Oh, I never bothered. I should have. I feel bad. Sorry, fifth grade teacher, not fifth grade teacher, whatever. It's been so long. It's some grade before college.
We don't hold that against you.
Yeah, I missed
Old
that.
man.
Yeah, I read, I think the first chapter, and then the endless descriptions were, sorry, I shouldn't be saying this. The endless descriptions were too much, and we hadn't
think the
advanced
author is
technologically enough to
dead.
be able to see the movie beforehand. It took a while, and then I realized I first, and mercifully, most of the people who would have something to say about this are now long past. The only way I got through War and Peace was to see the movie first. And then I was able to read the book. But that's for a different podcast. Let's go back to the horrors of Halloween.
I mean, one of my favorite parts is getting dressed up, but now I will feel horrified. Thank you. Getting dressed up.
Why?
I will
You
have
should feel just more targetedly horrified about what it is that you wear.
many
Or
costumes.
embrace the notion of several of my friends who believe that Halloween is every day. It's just that the occurrences on the 31st signal a wider ambit of the extent of horror signaling through clothing, intention, or anything else. And so the 31st becomes more like clothing signaling combined with the purge, as opposed to everyday signaling, which just may mean that you're not going to get the promotion or people are going to think you're dumb because you happen to be wearing a pink shirt with, I don't know, an aqua pair of pants or some ridiculous thing that violates someone's rules about how your clothing equates to your talent, your abilities, your judgments, and the like. So that's the horror. Who said the horror? The horror. Oh, yes, Apocalypse Now. The
Oh,
horror. I think.
yeah.
Well, if it wasn't, it doesn't matter because in this is Halloween and we can create our own fantasy Halloween horrible kingdom where all kinds of either terrible or bad things happen.
Well, what are you going to costume yourself as this Halloween?
What am I going to costume myself as Halloween? The scariest thing on earth that I can think of.
No, and don't say the word thing, because no.
I like the
No.
word thing.
No,
You are a creativity killer, is all I can say. You are a creativity killer. I know it's really scary.
what?
I'm going to go as myself.
Okay, I was gonna say that is perfect.
It is perfect.
Perfect.
I'll just augment it. But that may work.
I'm gonna blow up my friend's spot and say she's got a really good costume going on. She's gonna be a life-size twister board,
Oh my God, that's very creative. I like
With-
that.
the spinners on various locations.
Wow. Oh no, I know what I could do. I can come as Twitter.
Oh wow.
I
No, then you
just have
will
to figure
never
out how
shut
to
up.
visually represent myself as Twitter.
Yeah, please think way too long about it so that you miss Halloween.
Oh, no,
Accidentally.
not at all. But that would involve words. And since I love words, that would be perfect.
I would love to see that actually.
All right. Well, any last words?
No,
We'll do another horror Halloween thing, but I think our time is up.
I do too, but I think this was actually a little enjoyable.
Just a little.
Just a
All right. Well, say goodbye, Ariana.
Goodbye.
Bye, folks. We'll see you again for our next podcast. Again, remember, dial in Let us know if you have ideas or suggestions for podcasts. We'd be happy to talk about it. You now have a sense of the mood and the tone of these things, and we'd be delighted to chat with you. So stay tuned, and I look forward to further conversations with Ariana. This is Parallel Barker 1 and Parallel Barking 2 signing off.
Signing off. Goodbye.